Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's so nice to see you. We're glad that everyone is here. I hope that everyone who's here in person was able to find a seat there. We have a few still available. Thank you for sitting on that side so we're not completely lopsided. It's nice to see everyone. We want to welcome those who are joining us in person. We want to welcome all of those who are joining us online through Zoom. We see you there. We don't see those of you who are joining on the live stream and on Facebook and YouTube, but we are so glad that you could join us as we prepare to say goodbye to this week now ending and hello to this Sabbath day now beginning. Cliff Hessling, you have a pain? Oh, you can't hear me so well. The mics are at the same volume they always are. I'll just try to scoot a little bit closer. Last week, someone told me I was too loud. And the funny thing is, we don't change the volume of the mics. So I just can't win, I guess. We're going to begin by welcoming everyone. On page 128, you'll find the words, Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Behold how good and how pleasant it is when we all come together, to worship together, to celebrate Shabbat together.
Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim Shabbat Achim Gam Yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manachayim. Shabbat Achim Gam Yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manachayim. Shabbat Achim Gam Yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manachayim. Shabbat Achim Gam Yachad. Hinei ma tov, hinei ma tov. Yai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai. Hinei ma tov, hinei ma tov. Yai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai. Hinei ma tov u'manayim. Shabbat Achim Gam Yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim. Shabbat Achim Gam Yachad.
Again, we want to welcome everyone as we gather on this Shabbat Eve. If you'll turn in your prayer books, and I will later put the words up on the screen as well. Here at the beginning of our service, we have different psalms that we read to help us welcome Shabbat. And on page 132, you'll find words from Psalm 97, which remind us that Adonai is sovereign and that the earth should exult, the island shall rejoice. And there in that third paragraph in the Hebrew, it says, Or zarua latzadik ulishra simcha. We are reminded that light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. O you righteous, rejoice in Adonai and acclaim God's holy name. Or zarua latzadik, there at the bottom of page 132.
Or zarua latzadik u'yishrei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik u'yishrei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik u'yishrei lev simcha. U'yishrei lev simcha. Zarua latzadik u'yishrei lev simcha. U'yishrei lev simcha. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai. Yai dai dai dai. Yai dai. Yai dai yai. Or zarua latzadik u'yishrei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik u'yishrei lev simcha.
We turn now to the lighting of our Shabbat candles, which can be found on pages 120, 121. We'd like to invite our birthday boy, Terry and Mary, to come on up and to help us with the lighting of our candles.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
That was my fault. That was my fault. That was my fault again. I take full responsibility. Exactly. I put it in. This is why I called on folks who have experience.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We continue now on page 124. We entered this sanctuary, some of us in person, some of us virtually, to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Together, now we in our turn come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. We turn now to pages 138 and 39, and we join in the singing of Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi Rakala, B'nei Shabbat Nirkamila, Lecha Dodi Rakalo, B'nei Shabbat Nirkamila, Lecha Lecha Dodi Rakala, B'nei Shabbat Nirkamila, Lecha Dodi Rakala, B'nei Shabbat Nirkamila, Shamo v'zachor b'dibor echad, Ishmi'anu ve'elcham yuchad, Adonai echad, Shelo echad, L'shem ol tiferet v'nitilah, Lecha Dodi Rakala, B'nei Shabbat Nirkamila, Lecha Dodi Rakala, B'nei Shabbat Nirkamila, Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki makor habiracha, V'rosh v'kedem nesucho, Sof mahaseh b'mashava tehillah, Lecha Dodi Rakala, B'nei Shabbat Nirkamila, Lecha Dodi Rakala, B'nei Shabbat Nirkamila, Bo'oi v'shalom aderet bala, Gam b'simcha u'v'tzor olam, Toch emunei gam segulo, Bo'oi chala, Bo'oi chala, Lecha Dodi Rakala, B'nei פני שפתך בלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שפתך בלה.
We turn now in our prayer books to page 264, and we rise for the Baruch Hu.
Yai da 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 yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da da da. Yai da 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 yai da yai da da. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
On page 265, we find our prayer of creation, Ma'ariv Aravim. I'll put the words back on the screen for us. Page 265, we read together in the Hebrew, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim, v'chochma potzeach she'arim, uvidvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, uma'avdil vein yom uvein layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu, le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, HaMa'ariv Aravim. We continue responsively on page 266. In each age, we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment, we are addressed by the worlds. In each age, we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment, we stand face to face with truth. In each age, we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment, the knowing heart is filled with wonder. In each age, and seek to set the world firm on a foundation of truth. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Blessed are you, Adonai, who loves the people Israel. Page 267, we join in the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leholam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leholam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Please be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'otecha v'hayu hadabarim ha'hete asher anochi mitzavacha hayom levachecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam Beshivtecha v'veitecha u'v'lachtecha v'aderech u'shoftecha u'kumbecha u'kshatam le'yobot oyedecha v'hayu letokafo b'neinecha u'chtavtam amuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem ekol mitzvotai Vitam kedoshim lelohekem, ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti achem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem.
At the bottom of the page, we read together those words in English. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God, Adonai Elohechem Emet. We turn now to page 270, and we join with our people there on the other side of the Red Sea as we join in our song of freedom and thanks.
Mi chamocha ha'ilim Adonai, mi chamocha nedavar kodesh. Mi chamocha ha'ilim Adonai, mi chamocha nedavar kodesh. Nora tehilot, o sefene. Nora tehilot, O sefene. Mochukara uvanecha, pokei hayam lifnei Moshe, Seilianu ve'yamru, Adonai yimloch, le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch, le'olam va'ed.
On page 271, we find our Hashkivenu prayers. We ask God to keep an eye on us as we lie down tonight. We ask that we may lie down in peace and rise up to life renewed in the morning. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'ha'amidenu shomrenu l'chaim.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim ufrosaleinu sukat shlomecha v'taknenu ve'atzot ivam milfanecha v'hoshienu למען שמך. Grant us peace as we lay down and close our eyes. You will shelter me and my family neath the shadow of your wings. Keep us safe and raise us up to life renewed. And through every storm, you will keep us warm, filled with love and light. Watching over us, you will carry us safely through the night.
Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who spreads your shelter of peace over us, over all our people Israel, and over Jerusalem. On page 272, we continue now with the covenant of Shabbat, Vishamru.
Vishameru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat לעשות et HaShabbat לדורותם בתיתולום ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
Page 273, we turn to the Amidah and we rise.
Adonai sifetai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevig Geula Livnei B'neihem, L'man Shemo B'ahava, Melech Oser Moshiach U'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol, Atah Rav Hoshia, Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Ve'Rofei Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Kivurot, Umido Mehilach, Melech Meimit, U'Mechayeh, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'Nehiman Atah L'Chakayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'simcha kadosh. Shim b'chol yom yichalu hasela. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. We continue in the middle of page 277. You set aside the seventh day for your name, the pinnacle of creation, and you blessed it above all other days, more sacred than all festival times. And so it is written in your Torah. Vayechulu hashamayim va'aretz, the heaven and the earth were finished in all their array. On the seventh day, God had completed the work that had been done, ceasing then on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, and ceased from all the creative work that God had chosen to do. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, who sanctifies this Sabbath day. We continue on page 279. ורצה אדוני אלוהינו בעמך ישראל, ותפילתם באהבה תקבל, ותהי לרצון תמיד עבודת ישראל עמך. Be gracious, Adonai, our God, to your people Israel, and receive our prayers with love. Oh, may our worship always be acceptable to you. Fill us with the knowledge that you are near to all who seek you in truth. Let our eyes behold your presence in our midst and in the midst of our people in Zion. Blessed is Adonai, whose presence renews Zion. Baruch atah Adonai, hamachazir Shakhianu l'Tzion. And on page 281, our blessing for giving thanks, we read responsively in the English. For the good in us which calls us to a better life, we give thanks. For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and our hands, we offer praise. For the desire in us which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful. For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being. For all these things, O Sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lechana el lehodot. We turn now to our prayer for peace on page 282.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki atah Melech Adon Lechol Hashalom. Ki atah Melech Adon Lechol Hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. B'tov Penecha Levadeh Etamcha Yisrael, Becholeinu b'kol sha'ah, Yishlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam, Tasim Le'olam.
Baruch atah Adonai hamevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. We take a few moments now for our own silent prayers. We turn now in our prayer books to page 371. There we find our prayers for healing. As we gather together on this Shabbat, as we say goodbye to this week, we pause and reflect on all the blessings in our lives. We think especially now of the blessing of health, which we don't take for granted these days. We think of all of those who could use some healing, some recovering in their lives as this week comes to an end. The prayers of our congregation go out especially on behalf of Lara Di Christina, Ann Friedman, Betty Heller, Vern Gransden, Joel Webb. And we think of all of those who are fighting the coronavirus, all of those who are at home and in hospitals, all of those who could use healing and wholeness. Oh God, we think of all who are facing illness and pain. We join our prayers with the prayers of all who love them. Give them renewed comfort and courage. Strengthen in them the healing powers you have placed within us all. Guide the hands and hearts of those who are entrusted with their care. May the knowledge of your love and ours give added hope to them and to their dear ones. May they find even greater strength because our prayers are linked with theirs. Baruch atah Adonai Roveh Cholim. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of healing and health, comfort and strength. We join together in our Misha Berach prayer for healing there in the middle of 371.
Bless the ones before us. Help us find the glory to make our lives a blessing. And let us sing Amen. Misheberach imotenu b'kol habrachot le'avoteinu v'sons in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
And now, since this is the first Friday in the month of November, we enjoy celebrating happy moments here at Temple. And so we want to celebrate our anniversaries and our birthdays. So we begin with a special blessing for all of those who are celebrating a wedding anniversary this month. And I'm putting it on gallery view. I see Bill and Susan. I see you there. We think of all of those. Number 48, 4 dozen years for Bill and Susan. Excellent. Do I see anyone else joining us online? All right. For all who are celebrating wedding anniversaries in the month of November, Mishaberach Avotenu v'Imotenu Avraham v'Sarai Yitzchak v'Rivka Yaakov Leah v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob, Leah and Rachel, bless all of our couples who are celebrating their wedding anniversaries in November. God of all generations, we give thanks for the many blessings that have graced their lives and marriage over the years. May they look back on the day of their union with thankfulness. May this joy be with them always, their way of life loving and good, as they continue to help each other to bear life's burdens as well as share in life's joys. In joys and trials alike, O God, you have been with them. So may you continue to be with them, guiding and sustaining them in the years to come. Grant them, O God, a peaceful dwelling where contentment and love find a resting place. May they maintain a home in which glows the light of faith, one which honors our membership in the house of Israel, our people. O God, grant that they may grow old together in health and love and live in gratitude for their marriage always. As together we say, Amen.
Amen.
And Mazel Tov.
Thank you.
And now we turn to those who are celebrating birthdays. And I know we have a few here in the sanctuary. And I invite you to rise, whether you're at home or whether you're here in the sanctuary. If you have a birthday this month, I see Arvella, I see you, Amy, and I see you, Terry, and online, I'm not sure I see anyone yet. Oh, there's Verdi. I thought I saw you. Excellent. We weren't going to let you get away, Verdi. For all who are celebrating their birthdays in the month of November, Mishaberach Avotenu v'Imotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Leah, and Rachel, bless all those who are celebrating their birthdays this month. God of days and years, author of life, our times are in your hand. We thank you for the blessing of life and for all that enriches our lives. As we come together at Temple this Shabbat, we gather in thankfulness to share in the happiness of our friends and family members who are turning 1 year older this month. Be with them always, O God, as the joy of their life. May they be blessed with health and happiness and with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow. May they be blessed with many more years. Ad mea v'esrim. And may their lives be filled with an abundance of blessing. Baruch atah Adonai mevarech hashanim. We praise you, O God, who blesses our years. To all who are celebrating birthdays, we say congratulations, Mazel Tov. You may be seated as we join with the cantor in our prayer of thanksgiving to Shakhianu, as we give thanks to God for giving us life, sustaining us, and bringing us to this special time.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shakhianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shakhianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Our Torah portion for this Shabbat is Parashat Toldot. And I want to tell you about a very special birthday. It was the day on which twins were born to Isaac and Rebekah. As we read in Genesis 25, Isaac pleaded to God on behalf of his wife Rebekah, who was barren. God responded to his plea, and Rebekah conceived. But the children struggled in her womb, and she went to inquire of God. God answered by telling Rebekah, 2 nations are in your womb. 2 separate peoples shall issue from your body. One people shall be mightier than the other, and the older shall serve the younger. When her time to give birth was at hand, there were twins in her womb. The first one emerged red, like a hairy mantle all over, and so they named him Esau. Then his brother emerged, holding on to the heel of Esau, and so they named him Yaakov, or Jacob. Hence the birthday of both Esau and Jacob. Esau officially being the older because he won the race to get out of the womb first. We learn a little bit as the boys grow up. The Torah describes Esau as a skillful hunter, a man of the outdoors. He seems to be strong and brave with a sense of adventure. He's a fighter who knows how to stand up for himself. He had a presence about him. People knew he was there, and he was admired, loved, and favored by his father Isaac. Jacob, on the other hand, was a mild man who stayed in camp. He was a good student. He seems to understand the importance of family and of passing things from one generation to the next. We know that he helped out around the house and that he learned a lot from his mother, Rebekah, who favored him, Jacob. A little while later, we read, once when Jacob was cooking a stew, Esau came in from the open famished. He said to his brother, Jake, give me some of that red stuff to gulp down, for I am famished. Jacob replied, first, sell me your birthrights. Esau said, I'm at the point of death. I'm dying here. So of what use is any birthright to me? But Jacob said, swear to me first. So Esau swore to him and sold his birthright to Jacob. Jacob then gave Esau bread and lentil stew. If it had taken place here, it would have been red beans and rice, I'm sure. He ate and drank. He rose and went away. Thus did Esau spurn the birthrights. And so we learn a little bit more about the 2 brothers. We see Esau, who only knew how to live in the moment, how he couldn't think about or didn't care about the future. He was only concerned about the now and not with what might come later or down the road. We see an Esau who's controlled by his physical appetites. He couldn't think beyond his stomach. We also see an Esau who cared only about himself and his own needs. He didn't care about what his father might want or how his actions might affect others. And what do we learn about Jacob? Well, we learn that Jacob was already a negotiator, and he saw the big picture. He thought to himself that he was more deserving of this birthright. He had struggled to emerge first from the womb so that he could carry on the line of Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, but his brother beat him. He was smart. We see that he was willing to put himself at risk for the greater good. But he was also manipulative and not afraid to take advantage of his brother. We read that he seems to allow the end to justify the means. And 2 chapters later, we read that Isaac was ready to give his blessing, his final blessing, to his son. So he called on Esau to go and hunt him some wild game and prepare it just as he likes it, so that he might receive Isaac's blessing. Esau grabs his bow and walks out the door. Rebekah immediately calls over Jacob and says, we got work to do. We're going to dress you up just like Esau so that Isaac, your father, will bless you and not Esau. Again, I think we learn a lot about the two brothers. We see an Esau who is there when his father called upon him, ready to answer, Hineni, here I am, I'm ready, what do you need? He's an obedient son. But again, he seems only concerned about himself and getting what he feels is due to him. Jacob, also an obedient son, who seems to get it, but who's also worried about getting in trouble. And he questions whether the plan is right, but he goes through with it once mom says that she'll be responsible and take all the blame. We also see a Jacob who lies to his father, who doesn't seem to care much about his twin brother. It's important to read the story with both brothers in mind, because we are their descendants. If we are the descendants of Jacob, then we are also the descendants of Esau in many ways. Like both brothers, we're not perfect either. We too have strengths and weaknesses, good traits and faults. At times, we can be more like Esau, concerned only with ourselves. Sometimes we don't think about how our actions might affect others, those around us. We don't think about how our short-term decisions may affect us in the long term. And we focus on our physical selves and needs and not on our mental, spiritual, or emotional sides. We make bad choices. We make rash decisions. We are willing to sell off things that should have more value to us. Reading the news, we see many examples of this. We see cases of, just this week, of drunk driving. We see those who allow politics to get in the way of progress, those who choose not to get vaccinated, thinking only of themselves. We think of those who care nothing about the environment and climate change. But at times we can be like Jacob. We take advantage or manipulate others to get what we want. We too allow the end to justify the means. We sacrifice others to get what we want, and we don't take responsibility for our actions. Here's the good news. Both boys grow up. They mature over time. Their lives aren't easy. They both have struggles and challenges to overcome, but they mature and both become good leaders. And we can learn a lot from an older Esau and Jacob as well. From Esau, we learn that sometimes we need to be strong and brave enough to fight, to stand up for ourselves and to stand up for others. From Esau, we also learn the power to forgive. Spoiler alert there. From Jacob, we learn that there are better ways to treat people. We learn the importance of family. We learn that even though it's not easy, you have to be honest with yourself. We learn the value of setting goals and making them happen and working hard to get there. We learn the strength of faith. And we learn the importance of ledor vador, of embracing that which is passed down to us and figuring out what we want to pass on to those who will come after us. We too will have struggles. We too will have challenges, and we too won't always get it right. But let us always try our best. Maybe we can learn from our past and learn from our mistakes. Let us value and be proud of that heritage that has been passed down to us. And let us work at it and strengthen it for those who will come after us. Thus, both Jacob and Esau live on in all of us. We turn now in our prayer books to page 586. And we rise for our concluding prayers.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adom hakol, l'tet gidula l'yotzer breshi, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Please be seated. We continue on page 590. Let all who dwell on earth acknowledge that unto you every knee must bend and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you, Adonai, our God, let them pay homage. Let them give glory to your honored name. Let all accept the yoke of your reign, that you may rule over us soon and forever. For sovereignty is yours, and to all eternity you will reign in glory, as it is written in your Torah. Adonai will reign forever and ever together. Thus it has been said, Adonai will become sovereign of all the earth. On that day, Adonai will become one, and God's name will be one.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We turn now to page 593. In nature's ebb and flow, God's eternal law abides. When tears dim our vision or grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's eternal plan. Yet we know that growth and decay, life and death, all reveal a divine purpose. God, who is our support in the struggles of life, is also our hope in death. We have set God before us and shall not despair. In God's hands are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh. Under God's protection we abide, and by God's love are we comforted. O life of our life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts and fill our spirits with abiding trust in you. We turn now to page 598. I'll put the words back on the screen for us. As we think now of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, as we mourn the loss of Willie Bowman, Marilyn Lassen, Eileen Gail Schwartzer Thompson, and we think of those who died of this season in years past, those whom we've taken into our hearts with our own, as we lovingly recall the art citing of Lillian C. Albert, Michael Lance Alden, James Altman, Hannah Levy Bodenheimer, Martha Levy Buckman, Stanley S. Shagoy, Dr. Harry Greenberg, Frida Haddad, Nathan Halpern, Patricia Hooper, Eleanor Kahn, Josiah Alfred Keir, Terry Marvin Krieger, Judge Henry L. Lazarus, Alex M. Lisso, Pauline M. Loeb, Elizabeth Heller McMillian, J. Frehan Odenheimer, Lynn Prouty, Benjamin Pulitzer, Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, Isidore Rich, Alan H. Rosenblum, William U. Rosenthal, Samuel Schudmack III, Charles Schwartz Jr., Ida Sarah Sherman, Diana Horowitz Schneider, Maurice Mayer Stern, Dr. Saul Bear Stern, and Sylvia W. Stern. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be an everlasting blessing as we rise now as one congregation to recite the words of Kaddish Yatom on page 598. Yitkadzal v'yitkadash shmei rabbah, v'almad zivrach yirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach, Le'olam u'lalmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitba'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadzar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, Shmei dekudesha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tush b'chata v'nechamata, Da'amiran v'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehi Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom imromav, Uyaseh shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen.
Ve'yemru, 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 Amen. Ve'yemru, 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 Amen.
Please be seated. It's my pleasure now to invite up to the bima a member of our board of directors, Maddie Fireman, for a few words of welcome and announcements. Do you have them?
All right. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
The Bima flowers for the Shabbat were sponsored by Jennifer and Ken Daly in memory of Lynn Prouty. Coming up at Temple Sinai, we have a virtual Torah study tomorrow morning, beginning at 9:15 in the morning, followed by our Shabbat morning service, which will begin at 10:30. Both can be accessed online via Zoom and will be streaming live on our Facebook page and website. We have TV Club on Tuesday, November 9th at 7 p.m. A Brotherhood event at the Museum of the Southern Jewish Experience on Thursday, November 11th at 6 p.m. Book Club on Thursday, November 11th at 7 p.m. And there might be more in a moment. Tomorrow's the last day of early voting, and so if you plan to vote early, tomorrow is your day. Don't forget to vote in the upcoming election. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Maddie. For those who are here in the building, you saw that in the foyer by the entrance to the office, we have boxes. We are currently doing a coat drive with Blade Waves, and we are collecting gently used winter coats. If you are in the neighborhood, we would love for you to drop them off in our boxes that are there in the foyer. We'll be collecting them for one more week, if I remember correctly. There's lots going on around Temple. As you heard from Maddie, let me just add, our Wednesday Night Live continues on this coming Wednesday at 7 p.m. Our topic is, what do Jews believe? We're looking at Torah and mitzvot. Next Thursday, we'll have our next Thursday lunch discussion on Zoom at 12:30. Next Saturday morning, we are looking forward to celebrating as Ezra Turk becomes a bar mitzvah. And 2 weeks from tonight, Rabbi Cohn will be our speaker at services. That's on Friday night, the 19th. On Sundays, a reminder that next week we're going to, so that's the 14th, we'll have some visitors from the URJ Jacobs Camp. For those who are interested, would like to find out more about Jacobs Camp. Hopefully, lots of you we know have already signed up. There's still space available, especially in first session. And we want to encourage all of our kids to think about spending part of their summer at the URJ Henry S. Jacobs Camp. Again, there's lots, and I have a reminder that there was a senior programming survey that went out. Thank you to everyone who has already filled it out. And for those who haven't quite yet filled it out, we look forward to hearing back from you. At the conclusion of our service this evening, those who are here in the building, we are going to go outside and we'll make Kiddush and Motzi outside all together and have a chance to wish each other a Shabbat Shalom. We are grateful that everyone could join us in person and online. We want to welcome again all of those who are joining us in Zoom. We can see you. And we want to welcome all of those who are joining us on the live stream, Facebook, YouTube, lots of ways to join us for services. We're going to conclude our service this evening with our prayer for peace. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. Let's rise and join together.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Adonai Oz La'amo Yitain. May God grant strength to our people. Adonai Yivarech et Amo v'Shalom. May God bless us, our families, our congregation, our community, our country, and all those who serve and protect it. May God bless the land and people of Israel and all the world with a blessing of Sabbath peace. Shabbat Shalom. And for those on Zoom, I invite you to take yourselves off of mute. And we want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom. Again, for all of us who are here, we're going to head outside. We're going to follow Jen, and we're going to make Kiddush and Motzi outside. Shabbat Shalom, Elizabeth. It's nice to see you. Ruth, I can't see you, but I know you're there. It's good to have you. We haven't seen you for a while. Glad you could join us tonight. I see John and Doris. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Billy and Jane, good to see you as always. David, it's nice to see you.
Shalom, Rabbi.
Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom and happy birthday, Verdi.
You.
Shabbat Shalom, Kurt. Oh, Caitlin, I see you. I'll let Terry and Mary know that you guys are here. It's good to see you. I'm glad you could make it. Shabbat Shalom, Janice. Shabbat Shalom to the Emerson family. Good to see you guys. I'm glad you're here with us. Shabbat Shalom, Mom and Dad. It's good to see you. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We're so glad that you could join us. We're going to go outside and make Kiddush and Motzi. And some people will probably think it's too cold, but it's going to be great to be outside. We'll keep each other warm. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Happy birthday, Verdi.
Thank you. Thank you.